ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवं श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं हरिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमामि विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशकलानि पाश्चात्यदेशकलानि नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदाय कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरकृष्णे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रियराचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमाक्षणे बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कं करोति वाचालं यत् पङ्गुं गायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीननाथं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. Today we are going to read verse 3 from Sri Isopanishad. Let us begin. आसुर्यनामते लोका
सूर्यनामते लोका
अन्धेन तमसावृता
देहानमसावृता
तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति
ते वेदविगच्छन्ति
ये के चात्महानो जनः
ये केशात्मानुजनः
The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Human life is distinguished from animal life due to its heavy responsibilities. Those who are cognizant of these responsibilities and who work in that spirit are called suras, godly persons. And those who are neglectful of these responsibilities or who have no information of them are called asuras, demons. Throughout the universe, there are only these two types of human being. In the Rig Veda, it is stated that the suras always aim at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu and act accordingly. Their ways are as illuminated as the path of the sun. Intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many intelligent human beings must always remember that The soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many millions of years in the cycle of transmigration. The material world is sometimes compared to an ocean, and the human body is compared to a solid boat designed specifically to cross this ocean. The Vedic scriptures and the acharyas or saintly teachers are compared to as expert boatmen. But the facilities of the human body are compared to the favorable breezes that help the boat ply smoothly to its desired destination. If, with all these facilities, a human being does not fully utilize his life for self realization, he must be considered Atmaha, a killer of the soul. Shri Isopanishad warns in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance to suffer perpetually. There are swine, dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important to them as ours are to us. But the economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the laws of nature because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Why is man given a better life than that of the swine and other animals? Why is a highly placed government servant given better facilities than those of an ordinary clerk? The answer is that a highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. Similarly, the duties human beings have to perform are higher than those of the animals, who are always engaged in simply feeding their hungry stomachs. Yet the modern soul killing civilization has only increased the problems of the hungry stomach. When we approach a polished animal in the form of a modern civilized man and ask him to take interest in self realization, he will say that he simply wants to work to satisfy his stomach and that there is no need of self realization for a hungry man. The laws of nature are so cruel, however, that despite his denunciation of the need for self realization and his eagerness to work hard to fill his stomach, he is always threatened by unemployment. We are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swine, and dogs, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self realization, the laws of nature will force us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like asses and bullocks that pull the carts. Some of the regions where the asuras are sent to work are revealed in this verse of Sri Isopanishad. If a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the Asuriya planets and take birth in degraded species of life to work hard in ignorance and darkness. In Bhagavad Gita 6:41 to 43, it is stated that a man who enters upon the path of self realization but does not complete the process despite having sincerely tried to realize his relationship with God is given a chance to appear in a family of Shuchi or Shrimat. The word Shuchi indicates a spiritually advanced Brahmana. Shrimat indicates a Vaishya, who is a member of the mercantile community. So the person who fails to achieve self-realization is given a better chance in his next life due to his sincere efforts in this life. If even a fallen candidate is given a chance to take birth in a respectable and noble family, one can hardly imagine the status of one who has achieved success. By simply attempting to realize God, one is guaranteed birth in a wealthy or aristocratic family. But those who do not even make an attempt, who want to be covered by illusion, who are too materialistic and too attached to material enjoyment, must enter into the darkest regions of hell, as confirmed throughout the Vedic literature. Such materialistic asuras sometimes make a show of religion, but their ultimate aim is material prosperity. The Bhagavad Gita 16:17-18 rebukes such men by calling them Atma Sambhavita, meaning that they are considered great only on the strength of deception and are empowered by the words of the ignorant and by their own material wealth. Such asuras, devoid of self realization and knowledge of Ishavasya, the Lord's universal proprietorship, are certain to enter into the darkest regions. The conclusion is that as human beings, we are meant not simply for solving economic problems on a tottering platform, but for solving all the problems of material life into which we have been placed by the laws of nature. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Srila Prabhupada explains in Teachings of Quick Kunti, in prayers of Vijayendra Maharaj also, that the Lord's tireless mission is to reclaim each and every devotee, each and every living entity back to the sweetness, oceanic sweetness and happiness of the spiritual world. And the devotees of the Lord, they join this Lord's tireless mission. Anything and everything which is needed for going back to Godhead is present in this material world. That's why Isopanishad invocation speaks about that this material world is complete. There is complete facility for being in complete ignorance for complete time period of eternity. There is complete facility to get out of this complete mire of ignorance completely. So the Lord facilitates. We see in this material world, the sense gratification is addictive. If we try to see, although the sense gratification is addictive, but you see it is the nature of bhakti, the nature and the power of the nature of bhakti or the characteristic of bhakti is also very powerful. The characteristic of bhakti is also that it pulls the devotee again and again. And if you will see over the integral, the bhakti's pull is greater than Maya's addictiveness. That is why the Acharya Shastras explain Prabhupada's writes in Introduction to Bhagavatam. This transcendental literature, once having begun this Bhagavad Dharma, one is forcibly dragged to perfection. Prabhupada writes that forcibly dragged to perfection. Prabhupada writes that. What does it mean? That the pull of bhakti is so strong that even Maya's addiction fails in front of it. That is why it is said that having been once sincerely performed, the bhakti is all encompassing to every living entity. I mean, all auspicious for every living entity. And that is why in 240, you see, in 240, the Lord explained, Neha Vikramanashusti Devayo Vidyate Swalpam Apiyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahatobhayat. Yeah, Vikramanashusti. A little bit endeavor, a little bit of devotional service will come to one's good avail at the time of need. So, you see, material things, whole life, materialistic people keep accumulating material things, material achievements. But the nature of material things is that they are all fallible. Bhagavatam describes it fallible soldiers. When we need it, it will fall off. Other times it will be there. Very amazing, no? So, no, imagine, this material world, our accolades are like that. Every time it is there, only at the time when we need it, it will not be there. So, therefore, we see that only the time we need it, it won't be there. But whereas the nature of Krishna conscious endeavors is that when we need it, it is 100%. So therefore, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya, even a little bit of practice of spirituality or bhakti in great sincerity is going to free one from the greatest danger. What is the greatest danger? Atmaha is the greatest danger. Atmaha, one is killing one's own soul, having no auspicious goal, simply killing the soul. Atmaha. We can see in the Shastras devotees who got off track from their spiritual practices, how in due course of time they could come back. This goes to show that over the integral, the force of bhakti is more than the force of Maya. Achamil was an example. Privrat Maharaj is an example. Priyavrat Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj is an example also. Pururupa Maharaj is an example also. Yayati is an example also. Having once begun and then gone off track and then came back. Being pious and religious and then gone off, then came. Yamunacharya is an example also. So if Maya is addictive, then Maya's entanglement should be infinite. Although Maya is addictive, Swalpamapi asya dharmasya. A little bit of sincere bhakti can act like an atom bomb and explode all the shackles of Maya. That's how powerful bhakti is. That is why the verdict of Bhagavatam and Sri Upanishad then is that okay, with so much of facilitation, with so much of empowerment, still the living entity does not take to Krishna consciousness. That is the most unfortunate. After so much of empowerment by the process of bhakti, still a living entity doesn't want to take. Oh, dukkham mahadukkham. What an unfortunate misery. Oh, dukkham mahadukkham. Dukkha dukkha karam Panchanvadhismritam Ratna Hare Name Hare. Oh, Dukkham, Mahadukkham, what an unfortunate that the Supreme Lord has given us the diamond. So much of empowerment and facilitation. But one is considering that diamond to be like broken pieces of glass and rejecting it. What an unfortunate. Oh, Dukkham, Mahadukkham. There cannot be any other misery and misfortune but no greater than this. Kanchanvan, Vitmitam Ratna. That which is Ratna and a rare jewel that is being appearing in front of our eyes as something as as useless as broken glass pieces. Sorry. What he says, so those who remiss at the lotus feet of the Lord, they are sporting at the lotus feet of the Lord with great deva, with the waves of devotion. Pad Pankaja Palasa Vilasa Bhaktya Karmashaya Mudgratita Rantumasi. All the karma bandhanas they get cut simply by cultivating attraction to Krishna. All these karma bandhanas washed off. And then Prabhupada is giving example. That verse also starts with Yat Pada. Uh, that the translation of that verse the Prabhupada is giving in the puppet. And Prabhupada is saying, what is that? Plabam Sukalpam Guru Karnadharam. What is that verse? Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karnadharam. Yat Pada Saroja something. Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karnadharam. The human form of life is like a boat. It is specially designed and engineered to cross over this metal ocean. Engineering that type. And but one needs a boatman or an expert, a special master, Guru Karnadhara, Plum Sukalpam. If the Guru is driving, it is very Sukalpam. And the facility is the Vedic directions, they act like favorable breezes. And in this way, one can cross over this entanglement of this metal. But Lavam Sukalpam, Guru Karnadhara, that is that verse. What is that verse? What is that? Ah, this one. Naradehamadhyam Surabham Sugallabham. Naradeha Adhyam Adhyam is boat. No? favorable results. Aradehamadhyam sulubham sudurlabham. That which is very difficult has been made easy by giving the human body. Human body, which is like a boat. Labham sukalpam guru karnadharam. Yeah. Mayanukulena nabhasmate ritam puman bhavabdim nataret sa atmaha. Here also the word atmaha comes. This is 11th canto, text 20, text 17, chapter 20. 11, 20, 17. Naradehamadhyam sulabham sudurlabham Plavam sukalpam kurukarnadhanam mayanukulena nabhasvate ritam puman bhavatim nataret sa atmaha. Even after all this, somebody is not accepting. Such a person is called as atmaha. All the civilization Prabhupada explained many times is killer of the soul civilization. So, killer of the soul civilization. But what is the civilization? Everybody is killing their own soul. Killer of the soul civilization and modern day civilization.
Guru Karnadhara means holding to instruction.
Yeah, a spiritual master, the expert boatman. Good Karna. Yes, the expert boatman. But we have to allow, when we hold on to the instruction of the spiritual master, then we are allowing the spiritual master to drive our boat of life. So Prabhupada is quoting divine and demoniac nature. We see, demons are not physical entities, merely physical entities. Demon and demonism is a mentality. Asuric bhava is a mentality which any one of us, every one of us can have. Having is not a problem. Holding on to it is a big problem. Srila Prabhupada is talking about the rarity of human form of life. How this opportunity comes very, very rare. But one even has a chance to think of getting out of this cycle. But only has a human form of life. So therefore it is said that so it is said that you see the the Satyuga, the demons and the Devatas, they're staying on different planets. In the next Yuga, they're staying on different continents. The next Yuga, they're staying in the same continent, in the same country, in different cities. Proper. Uh, in Dwapar, they are in the same home. In Treta, they are staying in different areas. And Dwapar, they are in the same home. And in Kali Yuga, it is said that the Devata and the demon is the same person. They are in the same person, not the same home, but same person. Therefore, potentially, every human being has the potentiality of becoming a pure devotee. And if that facility is not undertaken, then any human being can act in any degraded way. And that's why the world affairs are very much shocking to us. Many times when we come to hear of news, we say, oh, it's very shocking. Somebody is a doctor, has become a terrorist. Somebody is a company owner and then land up being a murderer. It's very horrible, ghastly. The parents killing the child, mother killing the not in the womb. No? Yeah, it's very ghastly, and we can understand how is it possible? How can people go so nasty? Violence, rapes, so nasty. So the demoniac traits are they the same person, and therefore in Kali Yuga, our only saving graces is divine instructions of the Lord. People say, no, no, I believe in myself. We should not believe in ourselves. The only thing worthy in this world to believe, the only thing worth believing in this material world is the divine instructions of the Lord. Because only that has a guarantee that it will lead to an auspicious result for us and everyone else. We commit a great grand mistake when we think that I believe in myself, I have faith in myself. No, that myself is very topsy-turvy, is a cheating concept. Because in the name of myself, the mind shoots out all the demonic algorithms and a person can act in nasty trajectories. Therefore, Gurumukha Padma Vakya Chitte Koriyarkya. Or na kariyo mane asha. Why should I not do any other asha? No. Or na kariyo mane asha. If you do any other asha, then it will be if you do any other asha, it will be such a degrading fall that the person himself or herself doesn't know how degraded they have become. That is why Raishampur says this. And actually, this degradation, the sense gratification, or the sinful proclivity, this is like a bottomless hole. It's a hole one is falling, but how far, how deep one will fall? There is no bottom. One will go on falling like a bottomless hole. And we can see in the modern day from a socio uh, uh, from a social perspective or from a social scale, we see that people are becoming so degraded and nasty. Crimes are happening for more and more flimsy reasons. More and more flimsy reasons. Violence on flimsy reasons. Vedic times, there was only one cause of violence. Any Kshatriya ruler would be very happy, even if they have a small place, big place, doesn't matter. They'll be happy and living and taking care of whatever subjects. But when the ruler will see that the neighboring ruler, one of them, has become adharmic, has become demoniac, as and misguiding the citizens, then they would take their armies and go and attack and conquer that kingdom. Not to put more badges on their plate, not to say that okay, I am the what do you call it as ruler of the world, or something like that. Vishwajay and all that. No, just so that the citizens there, the people there can get dharma. That was the only cause. Other than that, violence not justified.
No,
Yes.
it was Bhakti Maharaj was saying that in our subconscious mind, the information is stored from millions and millions of times. All the proclivities are stored in the subconscious. And in this life, we only have access to consciousness, whatever little bit we remember. So, because what things are stored in our subconscious, because of that, we get
Yeah, it's not just what is stored in the subconscious, but they are investing in what is stored in the subconscious. They are, what grows is what we feed.
and those thoughts pops out, and he's accepting
Yeah,
to do it.
correct. So what will feed is what will grow. If you have an agricultural field, what will come out of that field? If we don't grow, weeds will come. So if we don't work on our mind, purifying our mind, weeds will come. Poisonous trees will come. But if we are not allowing the weeds and poisonous trees to grow, that means we are taking charge of controlling the mind and senses. Then what will grow? What subsies? Like in a field, what sabji will grow? Whatever we have planted. Whatever we planted. It's the seed. What seed we have put, knowingly or unknowingly. Sometimes people just grow pumpkin seed, in their garden, and then a pumpkin plant comes. So, but what we throw is what comes up. Have you ever seen an apple tree coming out on its own? Have you ever seen a mango tree coming out of its own? No, it's not possible. What we sow is what will come. So, what are we sowing? What are we feeding? Based on that, we are classified as divine or demonic. So, if you see, Srila Prabhupada describes this mentality as of the living entity not to turn to Krishna as stubborn obstinacy. That is why a sadhaka has to be convinced that I need to drag myself. When will that overflowing enthusiasm come? It may not come throughout our life. Because by that time we are putting our footing in Krishna consciousness, the prime of youth is going off. And by the time, so the time flows very fast, and one's whole life it may not come. At stage may not come. So then what to do? Then we have to push ourselves. That is the only thing we have to do. We need to push ourselves. Therefore, a sadhaka has to struggle in a very disciplined manner. That this has to be done. That is why it is best to. So we see that each and everything. It's like person has money, person is very frugal, where one has to spend money. Similarly, a devotee should be very frugal with one's time. Where should I invest my time? Not that we allow it to get attracted anywhere, everywhere, but then whole time will go away and waste it. Just like money mind person is frugal about spending his money, similarly, you have to be frugal about spending time. We have limited moments in life, and those moments, if you don't surrender to Krishna, the whole time will go. The same thing is about our intelligence. People think, no, I have invented this thing, that thing. I have used my intelligence to produce this thing, that thing. No, we have limited time. We have limited intelligence. So better use the intelligence than glorifying Krishna. Rather than using intelligence in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 thousands of distractions. So Bhagavatam explains intelligence is a tool. Any direction you can use it. So intelligence is a tool, but if you use it in a flickering material dimension throughout a life, then what we have got is nothing in our hands. That is the exact point. So therefore, an atheistic person is doing the greatest damage to himself or himself. And that is why here Sri Isopanishad is beaconing and emphasizing everyone that please take up the Krishna consciousness, the serious fervor. Otherwise, you're killing our own soul. So in this material world, the dynamic setup. We cannot be static in this world. We can only be ecstatic by accepting the lotus feet of the Lord. No static. Static means one degrades to lower forms of life. Yes.
Because sometimes it has been found that And even intelligence also, when we can use it because of our past conditioning, we can use it in the wrong direction, which is not available for our different consciousness. So how can I make sure that I'm not using it? Even though when it comes to pushing our intentions in our right direction, there is a limit. So how do I know that this is my limit? I cannot push beyond it. Because I also heard that it is also on the tip of Maya that Maya also wants you to go up like a firecracker so that you can burst and then you know.
Yes. So how to safeguard from this? Mm. Yeah, or not to be a fighter. We should be guidance. Human life is a boat. The spiritual master is the boatman. And we should follow the guidance like that. So guidance may be palatable, maybe ecstatic, maybe austerity, but we should follow the guidance. Then we will come out. Lavam Sukalpam, Guru Karna. That which is difficult will become easy by guidance. No guidance, that which is easy will become impossible also. Chaitamrit, Kakshana Swaraj Swami. So one has to stick on. That's why the Lord is telling Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam. Stick on. So that is the only savior. That is the only saving algorithm. Just like one is in an ocean and one is in a ship. And one will not think of jumping out of the ship. Any fool will do that? No fool will do that. By jumping on is finished. So one will be inside the ship. Is it not? That is how one has to understand Lavam Sukalpa, Guru Karna. One has to stick on to the instructions of the spiritual master. If we do not, we cannot sail through. Same thing in a train. Can you jump out? No. Maybe in a station, but that also carefully. There is sometimes a person is absorbed in eating and purchasing something, train goes off. That's a very precarious situation. So, similarly, airplane, people are just sitting. You go to US, it's 16 hours sitting, just sitting. So, similarly, in that way, we have to sit in this boat of human body and give the steering to the spiritual master. Just like Arjuna sat in the chariot and he gave the reins of the chariot to Krishna. That is how he was victorious. So therefore, nothing to get fearful of this material world, but we have to be very, very careful that we don't allow our consciousness to be smushed with the desires, the poisonous desires and gratification. Otherwise, we will end up being one in the uh, so let's stop here for today. Hare Krishna. Kantrashi Shubhasham ki, Prabhupada ki.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Bol.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I wanted to ask a question.
Yes, Subbu?
Yes, Prabhu, I was asking that since when we actually go out for preaching or when we have some pre-planned mission,
1 minute, Prabhu, it's not audible. Yeah, it's not audible. You're asking a question, Prabhu. Please go ahead, but it is not audible.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I was saying that whenever we actually go out for preaching mission, So sometimes we might be alone or we are along with devotees also.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
So I was saying that since when we go out for preaching on a preaching mission, etc., then we have we have to encounter Maya, which is in the forefront of us, and that time we might have devotees along with us as well. But when we are actually, matlab, maybe if we don't have proper sadhana, or we are not careful about what we are going to do or what is our mission. So is there any uh, pre-planned objective setting before going out towards any preaching activity? Like it's not like just jump into it and things would be very fine. So
Yeah.
what I want to ask, like what personally you do also in order to achieve that matlab, because preaching won't happen otherwise without having this consciousness in the right
In the name of preaching, we cannot afford to compromise on the morning program. So it's not that one has gone here and there and compromise in the morning program. If you do that, we won't be able to sustain. Like Raishambhu started this youth preaching model and he would send brahmacharis to stay in various colleges. So then brahmacharis are not in the temple. But they, and then there was a lot of many other temples were telling that Raishambhu, these brahmacharis will not remain brahmacharis only and all that. But they could sustain. Why? Because they were very pakka in their morning program. So it's not that so morning program has to be done with great intensity. See, the point is, we are with 10 devotees. How we do the morning program? So with that same fervor, one should do the morning program even if one is alone. Like we came to know the Belgium, that capital city of Belgium. There is only one temple in the entire country, and one devotee is running that temple. Huh? So this devotee wakes up the Lord, then he goes for cooking. Then he comes and does offering, and then after offering, he is doing arati, and in between he's chanting. Then he again goes for cooking. He's again doing. So he does arati. After that, he sings. Like that. One person. So hats off. Is it not? So how is this one person sustaining? Uh, Sometimes they show movies, okay, one person against a whole nation, and this person is, victorious and all. That is all imagination. There's no reality. But in Krishna consciousness, it is reality. One person in a whole country of materialism and atheism is being victorious. You know, like that. Why? We have to be very strong in the morning program. And a bit strong in sadhana. So one should never mind hard work actually. We get infected when we become lazy cozy. When times people become lazy cozy, then infections will take over actually. So that is the point. And secondly, one should be always hooked to association. So another shampoo would send brahmacharis, he would send them out for 10 days a month. Like devotees would come from Pune to KGP 10 days and 2 days travels, 10 days stay. So that means 15 days they were out, 15 days they were in the temple. That is how the preaching was going on. And what the why coming back to the temple, Pune temple? There is no much seva. No, there they would attend the morning program with the deities, with other fellow devotees, senior devotees, like that. And they would do subjugating. They would do deity dressing, subjugating, all those services. and that is nourishing brahmachari class of the services. And then they come back again rejuvenated, fresh, and then again like that. So now if some brahmachari there he is so attached to the voice is not going and staying in the temple only, then it will be dangerous. Slowly the infection will be like that. Similarly, we were in Calcutta. We were preaching in different outstation voices like Kharagpur, Jamshedpur, Ranchi, and Dhanbad, Durgapur. We were preaching in Durgapur and training the Mayapur brahmacharis, and then we handed over the project to them. 4 years ago, devotees were preaching and training and setting up the NIT Durgapur preaching, and then we gave it to them. So it's running successfully till now. So Mayapur, we gave it to Mayapur. We did it for them as service. So our devotees were going everywhere. But what is the protocol? The protocol was that Thursday evening one can leave. Thursday evening. Thursday 5 p.m. onwards one can leave. Why? Because Thursday 3 to 5 would be brahmachari class. After that one can leave. And by Monday afternoon one has to come. Brahmachari class. Like that. So we were following that. So and we want to follow the same model in Newalipur also. But our devotees go out, but not gone for good. Go out, but they come back. And everybody goes out in different parts of Calcutta, neighboring and all that. But they come back for a period of time, and then that time they are taking association and doing menial services and duty services and Bhagavatam class and uh, like that. The Krishna Katha, some nice nourishment is planted, and then we go like that. So this module is very good. Otherwise, we get uh, off track, like that. And that is why, and see this kind of thing, even proper disciples themselves they did. They used to meet with each other, and only those who had good relationship with each other and who would meet each other and take each other's association, only no such devotees are surviving like that. Only such devotees survive. One who thought that okay, I am invincible, no problem, I am okay, I can be, going on. They could not go on. It was too much overwhelmed. Like that. So we need to come back and take association. So therefore, whenever there is opportunity for us to take association, one should be very eager. Not that no, I have preaching. Like sometimes some youth preachers were crying, Raisham Prabhu, that oh, right, because Raisham Prabhu has the habit of inviting so many senior devotees, so many of them. Raisham would write to them, request them, beg them, plead them, and like that. Prabhu's nature is like that. And so many will come, then youth people were crying, our preaching, what will happen to our preaching? So many, senior devotees are coming, and you have to come for their programs and all that. No, we'll get our strength for preaching when we serve the senior Vaishnavas very nicely and take their association. This is the same principle for a grihastha, but it is worded in a different way. He said, okay, a grihastha devotee who is staying in a house, what he has to do? He has to invite senior devotees to his house, and serve them, hear from them, take their association. Then he will be saved from mind. See, the principle is the same, it's just worded in a different way. The principle is the same, that on a very regular basis, one has to take association of fellow devotees, of senior devotees. And one should do menial services in the association or in the assembly of fellow devotees and senior devotees, then one will be safe. Like that. That is why these services are very nice, like the book marathon, service is very nice. It may be menial, no? It is a menial service, but it is a little taxing, it is a little troublesome. People speak all kinds of, people behave in all kinds of rowdy and rude ways and all that. But it's purifying to our heart. So one should not just remain a youth preacher all the time. Sometime one should become a cook, vessel washer, food distributor, like that. Kid servant, backup seva, ready seva. So one keeps a good balance, then one will have strength. One goes off the balance, then it will be little. One will become weak. Like that's a point. Okay, Sheikh Prabhat ki
Jai.